Have you ever wondered what it truly means to be great? Not the fame or recognition, but the kind of greatness that withstands the tests of time. It feels like the answer is always just beyond reach, like there's a price to pay that no one talks about. What if the cost isn't in talent or opportunity, but in how much you're willing to sacrifice of yourself? The path to greatness may not be paved with victories, but with struggles, choices, and a relentless commitment to something higher than yourself. Is greatness worth the cost?
Marcus Aurelius, one of the more interesting things about the stuff that he writes is how relevant it is today. Like when you read it, you wouldn't imagine that this is being written by a man. Like, how many years ago was that?
1900, 2000 years ago. He's writing in like the mid 150s, 160s AD.
It's very relevant.
Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king of Rome, lived his life in a way that challenged our modern view of success. For him, greatness wasn't about power or wealth. It was about living in harmony with nature, accepting the hardships life brings, and maintaining a steady mind. His philosophy, Stoicism, wasn't a path of ease, but one of enduring life's trials with dignity and wisdom. Greatness, according to Aurelius, came from mastering your inner world, from keeping your soul aligned with virtue, no matter what external challenges you faced. How well you could carry the weight of your responsibilities without losing your principles. But the question remains, are you willing to pay that price? What is greatness? For most, it's a title, a trophy, something that tells the world, I made it. But when we strip away the applause, what's left? A fragile image built on the need for others' approval. Society tells us greatness means being admired, standing out, achieving more than those around us. But this version of greatness often leaves people feeling empty, like a hollow shell. It's all about the outer appearance, not what lies within. And the more we chase this, the further we drift from what truly matters. People become trapped in a cycle of validation seeking, building their lives around the opinions of others. Success becomes a mask, covering up insecurities and fear of being ordinary. We're taught to equate greatness with external success, status, wealth, recognition. But in constantly trying to prove ourselves, we lose sight of who we are. Each achievement feels empty, because it's never enough. The more we seek validation, the more we need it, and the hollowness only grows. Stoicism, the philosophy that guided Marcus Aurelius, challenges this idea entirely. Stoics saw greatness as something internal, beyond the reach of public opinion. To them, greatness wasn't about standing out, but standing firm. It wasn't about having more, but needing less. True greatness comes from within, from mastering yourself, not others. It's not about what you achieve in the world, but how you carry yourself through it, especially in times of struggle. Strength, wisdom, and virtue, these were the pillars of greatness for the Stoics. But modern society teaches us to chase after success like it's the ultimate goal. We end up disconnected, living lives that feel empty because we're focused on external results instead of inner purpose. The Stoics believed that when we stop seeking validation and start focusing on our own growth, we begin to find something real, something that lasts. Greatness, according to Stoicism, is about aligning with what truly matters, your principles, your integrity, no matter what life throws at you. But where do we find that internal compass? The answer lies in something often ignored: intuition.
We can sense things at the level of the body that inform our brain, and no one really understands that process yet. But we do know that the vagus nerve, which is a multi-pronged pathway, big pathway, it's probably its own major branch of the nervous system, really.
Intuition, the quiet voice that speaks without words, guiding us when logic fails. It's not something we can measure or explain easily, but we've all felt it, a gut feeling, an inner knowing that pulls us in a certain direction. For Marcus Aurelius, intuition was a key to understanding our true path in life. He believed that beneath the noise of the world and our own thoughts lies a deeper wisdom. This intuition, when listened to, can guide us toward our purpose, even when it seems unclear or irrational to others. But there's a conflict within us. Society teaches us to rely on reason, to plan, calculate, and analyze every decision. We learn to silence our intuition, convincing ourselves that it's too risky or impractical. This creates an inner struggle, a tension between what we feel and what we think we should do. Marcus knew this conflict well.
Writing in his non-native tongue to himself, never expecting anyone would see it. It'd be like finding out the comedian is like funny in their diary. You're just like, wow, you're just naturally that. It's just like intuitively part of you.
As an emperor, he had to balance logic with the pull of his inner compass. He found that greatness came from following intuition, not blindly, but as a companion to reason. The paradox of purpose is born here. Using intuition to guide us means stepping into uncertainty, but trying to force everything into logical order often leads us away from what truly matters. Marcus understood that intuition doesn't always promise success or comfort. It asks for courage, for trust in something beyond the mind's grasp. When we build a life solely on reason, we may find success, but it can feel hollow. When we let intuition play its role, we may not always understand where we're headed, but we find deeper fulfillment. This is where intuition becomes powerful. It doesn't just help us make decisions, it helps us align with our deeper purpose. For Marcus, purpose wasn't about chasing external goals, but about living in harmony with nature, with the flow of life. But not everyone saw life this way. Karl Marx, for instance, had a radically different view on purpose and how society shapes our sense of self. Karl Marx believed that the way society is structured determines much of who we are and what we value. To Marx, individuals weren't truly free to define their purpose because they were shaped by the economic systems around them. He argued that capitalism, in particular, forced people into roles, stripping away their ability to connect with their true selves. Instead of living meaningful lives, people became cogs in a machine, working for the benefit of a few. Marx saw this as an alienation from our essence, a breaking point between human potential and reality. Marcus Aurelius, though living centuries before Marx, had a different perspective. While Marx emphasized the external forces shaping us, Aurelius focused on the internal. He believed that no matter what situation we're born into, greatness comes from how we respond, not from the systems around us. To Marcus, external circumstances were often beyond our control, but our inner life, the way we think, act, and approach the world, was entirely within our power. This inner strength allowed a person to rise above the pressures of society. Socrates stood somewhere between these two views. He agreed with Marcus that the soul's integrity was paramount, but he also saw how society could distort a person's sense of right and wrong. For Socrates, the external world posed a constant challenge to living a virtuous life. He acknowledged that social norms could mislead us, yet he didn't fully align with Marx's idea that society creates our identity. Instead, Socrates believed that wisdom came from questioning the external world while staying true to one's inner moral compass, a balance between the two extremes. The conflict between Marx's view and Aurelius's philosophy is sharp. Marx saw individuals trapped by the systems around them, while Aurelius taught that true freedom is found within. The middle ground, perhaps, lies in acknowledging both perspectives, that external forces shape our environment, but inner wisdom defines our response to it. Purpose, then, is not just what we build from within, nor what society imposes on us, but the tension between the two. It's the combination of Marx's awareness of the world's limitations and Marcus's internal focus that provides a fuller picture of greatness. The real struggle is finding balance between what we can change and what we must accept. By accepting that we can't control everything, we free ourselves to focus on what truly matters, our own growth and integrity. Because as Marcus Aurelius said, what stands in the way becomes the way.